Let's talk about the best roster update investments right now in MLB The Show 22, just 6 days away from the next roster update. The time to be getting in on this roster update is closing. There's definitely a lot of reasons to be out there making stubs. Just got this massive Andrew McCutchen collection. You want to be knocking that out, and you never know when another one could be coming. So we got 11 names that we're going to go over today. I tried to keep this list a little bit shorter this time, really focusing on guys that I like a ton, and I'm feeling really confident in this update. That, of course, are at good price points. A couple guys we're not going to be mentioning. Guys like Austin Riley, Colossae, definitely chances to get upgraded. Not at a price point for me that I recommend buying in on. So these are going to be guys that mainly are very close to quick sell value. Let's go ahead. We got 11 names to break down. Let's hop into it. First guy we got here is Zack Wheeler. He has been dominant of recent. He had a rough start to the season, but he's been a really good pitcher since then. He won pitcher of the month for a month. He's continued that through here. Over his last 3 starts, Wheeler, 21 innings pitched, just 11 hits allowed. That is an elite hits per 9 rate. Only 3 walks over that time and 21 strikeouts. So pretty significant hits per 9, Ks per 9 boost likely here for Zack Wheeler. And if he gets that boost there, it's not going to take him much to get up to 85, as he's already in 84. So hits per 9, Ks per 9 bump probably gets him up in there. Should be looking at one more start for Wheeler in this update as well. So we want to make sure that that start goes well for him. As long as it does, I feel like Wheeler has a really strong chance of getting to that diamond tier, chilling at 1801 right now. So 300 stubs above quick sell. It's a little bit more expensive. Generally like to get in a little bit closer to quick sell, but 1801 is still not a bad price point to come in on a guy like Wheeler, who has a really strong chance of going diamond. Even just a +1, he could even sneak in up to a +2 into an 86 range, get you even a little bit more profit. Still profit to be made here, even just a hype sell. I don't see any reason why Zack Wheeler is not a guy who's 3,000 stubs plus come Thursday, the day before the next update. Next guy we got, Andrés Giménez here, a guy we've been on our radar for quite some time. We can see how close he is already to an 84 with just a +2 to his contact right, power right, getting him up to an 84. So very close to that already as it is. Giménez over his last 30 games batting .296, a 185 ISO overall. Is a little bit on the lower end, but he doesn't have a whole lot of power, and he has a 333 ISO versus lefties over his last 30 games. Now, not a massive sample size versus lefties, but enough of a sample size to where maybe you can get a little bit of that contact and power bump versus lefties, a little bit of power bump versus righties. It's not going to take much for Giménez with his elite defense to get that +2, but even a +1 is putting us in a really nice range where we're locking in some profit and putting him in a position to be a hype sell for future updates. Chilling at 1273 right now, so just 73 stubs above that quick sell value. Really like this play a lot. It's kind of probably been a long time coming for Giménez. He's kind of one of those guys that have reached that 83 to 84 tier and just kind of topped out for a little bit. We've seen a lot of those guys finally break through that. I think Giménez could be the next. He's playing incredibly well. Definitely due for some offensive upgrades. Hopefully enough to get him that +2 in the diamond. Next guy, we got Starling Marte. We can see, looking at his card, the biggest room he has to grow, contact right, power right. So when we take a look at what he's done versus righties over his last 30 games, he's hitting .348 versus right-handed pitching his last 30. His power hasn't been insane, around a 165 isolated power there versus right-handed pitching. Could be just enough to get him a very slight bump to power versus right, but definitely a significant bump to his contact versus right. There's so much room to go versus right-handed pitching. A nice little bump there could get him that +2 into diamond. He started the year as a diamond. He's been on fire for the last month. I think it's a situation where it's not necessarily even this update. It's going to happen at some point. He is a little bit more expensive, selling 100 stubs above an 84 overall quick sell. I still think this is a solid hype play. I don't see any reason why come Thursday the Starling Marte hype train doesn't start rolling a little bit closer to that 3,000 price point where we can guarantee lock in our profits, sell off that hype before the update even hits. We're keeping it in New York. We got another Met to talk about. It is Francisco Lindor. We can see a +12 to his contact and power right. Gets him that +2 to becoming a diamond once again. He's been streaky this year, but Lindor seemed to have locked in, settled in, and on a nice consistent 30-day stretch, batting .330 with a .275 isolated power over his last 30 games. Really strong room to grow there, especially in his contact versus right. A lot of that batting average comes from him being pretty proficient at getting on base and getting hits versus right-handed pitching recently. And with a 58-55 contact right and left, there's a lot of room to grow up there. Maybe he can even get a slight power bump as well, and all of a sudden that contact right, power right, little bump there, maybe a little bit to his left as well. A +2 is 100% in the cards here for LINDOR, a guy 1444 on the sell now right now, so still under that 84 overall quick sell value. It's been a large sample size for this update. If you remember, our last update only did defensive attributes, so no per nines, no offensive attributes were adjusted. So it's been some time. We have a large sample size. I like LINDOR could be taking advantage of that and being a pretty aggressive mover here with how he's been hitting recently. And under that 84 quick sell still, I like his odds really to get to 84 at minimum. So pretty safe bet there at the end of the day. Obviously a little bit of risk involved in anything you don't get at quick sell, but I'm liking LINDOR a lot. Next guy we got, it is San Diego Padre Juan Soto. He's been playing incredible over the last month or so. Definitely looking like the Juan Soto that we know. Not to mention as well, now in San Diego, he's got that lineup protection. He's playing in some more meaningful games. Maybe that can get him going even more than what he already is. You take a look at his attributes, 393 versus lefties over his last 30 games. We can see that 50 contact left, 74 power left, has a lot of room to grow there, especially on the contact side. Maybe could even sneak in a little contact versus right bump. Power versus right, probably going to stay where it is, but Soto playing really well over the last month. He's protected in that lineup now in San Diego. He's probably going to be walking even more than what he is, getting some more pitches to hit. +3 from 82 is a bit aggressive. It's going to take a lot to do that, but I think at some point in time, Juan Soto gets back to the diamond caliber player that he is and that he deserves to be. Chilling at 1461 on the sell now right now, so quick sell for an 82 is 900. He is quite above that. He's even above what an 83 quick sell is, but he's a guy who's going to get the hype train rolling at minimum. He's going to be a very expensive card come Thursday, regardless of if he is going up in Friday's roster update. And I think it's likely that he gets a solid bump there, especially in his contact versus lefty. Maybe enough to get him all the way up in the diamond, but if not this update, definitely at some point. We know he's a diamond caliber player. He's going to get back there. Next up, we got Yankee catcher Jose Trevino. And he's a guy who does not have very good offensive attributes on his card, which presents us in a really awesome opportunity where he has this insane defensive floor with his 93 fielding, some of his catching attributes, a really strong defensive floor. But when we take a look at his offense over the last 30 days, he's batting 305 with a 237 isolated power over his last 30. That is really strong for a guy with 62, 63, 60, and 52 offensive attribute ratings. That is extremely low. This guy has a ton of room to grow offensively. He's playing to a level that he deserves to grow offensively. If he can get some slight contact boost, some slight power boost, all of a sudden getting to that 83, 84 range, and we even begin to have a discussion about a Jose Trevino becoming a diamond player, it is certainly capable. It is entirely feasible. You take a look at it, 900 subs on the sell now for an 82, right at quick sell value. I think, in my opinion, probably one of the better values you can get out there with Trevino being so low at quick sell. Really love this guy. Love what he's doing, especially offensively. The defensive floor is holding him up. He's got some really serious investment upside. Moving on now, a guy that we've mentioned quite a bit, but we're still in on him. It's Jose Abreu. He's got pretty good hitting attributes as it is, but that power versus right does have some room to grow over his last 30 games. Versus righties, he's hitting 365. So even that 80 contact can definitely extend past that when you're hitting 365. And a 176 isolated power, not incredible by any stretch of the matter, but 52 power right, definitely could get a little bit of boost there. And all of a sudden, we're looking at a guy like Jose Abreu. We can see a +14 to both gets him to 85. Don't think that one's going to quite happen. But even just a slighter bump than that, get him up to an 83, possibly even an 84 for Jose Abreu. He's playing incredible right now. He's due for some upgrades. He did have a 3-run home run versus a righty just the other day. So maybe that little bit of righty power is starting to show up for Abreu. 601 on the sell now. Another guy right at quick sell value. Risk-free investment here in Abreu. Really like what he's doing. I think he's due for some nice contact right, power right, maybe even a little contact left upgrades. Some upgrades across the board, though, at a position that pretty much solely weights offensive attributes. He's going to be a quick mover if he gets those upgrades. I'm hoping that he does get some come next Friday. Next guy we got here is Kevin Gausman. He had a pretty rough start on the 27th versus the Cardinals, but he bounced back versus the Rays with an elite start on August 2nd. Just a few days ago. He should also get one more start in this update period. But when you look at his last 4 starts, he has a 12.17 Ks per 9 while also continuing to limit the walks. So I could see Gausman getting a nice Ks per 9 bump here in this next roster update that helps him push back into that 82, 83 overall range. And if he can get one more start and limit hits significantly in that, maybe we get a little hits per 9 bump. As of right now, he's given up about 1 hit per inning, so I don't see that hits per 9 moving currently, but even just the Ks per 9 alone can help him work back up closer to that diamond caliber pitcher and tier that he was earlier this year. And you know, one more start still in this update period likely for Gausman. He goes down, he shuts down, then he follows up on his last start where he really limited the hits and had a ton of strikeouts. Gausman could be in a position to then maybe even get a little bit of hits per 9 bump as well, and he's really going to start moving up the overalls. Firmly 100% at quick sell value, risk-free investment here again in Gausman. Couple risk-free investments here on the back half of the guys we're looking at, and we got to save some of the better guys back here towards the end for all y'all that watch all the way through. It's not a roster update video if I don't mention at least one Texas Ranger. I got to find a way to sneak one in on every single one that we do, but he's massively deserving. It is Corey Seager. Over his last 30 games, he's batting .316 with a .382 isolated power. A lot of that average coming versus righties, a lot of that power coming versus lefties. So it's 102 power left. That's probably not moving. 78 power right, that may not move either. Could get a slight bump, but his contact right and contact left for a guy batting over 300 over his last 30 days, hitting both sides pretty well. Definitely deserving of some pretty solid bumps there, especially versus righties. I could see him getting a nice significant bump versus righties, a little bit more of a minimal bump versus lefties, but a contact bump for Seager can go a long way to pushing him into that 82, 83 overall range. We can make a solid little return on our investment and even begin looking at holding Seager for a possible diamond play if he can continue to hit for average and power. One of the unluckiest players in the league so far this year. That luck over the last 30 days has turned back around. Going into that, he was 4th in the league in 100-mile-an-hour plus exit velocity outs. He had like a 50-point discrepancy between his expecting batting average and his current batting average. The luck's kind of turning around for Seager. If he can continue this, we see a diamond possibility in the future. 445 on the sell now, so you can't even put in a price that low. Quick sell for an 81 is 600. So right at quick sell, another risk-free investment here. A little bit more expensive of a player here in Adley Rutschman at 279 for a silver, but Adley is showing some really awesome stuff offensively. Over his last 30 games, he's batting .338 with a .235 isolated power. Not only could Adley creep up into the gold tier, he could be a guy that starts pushing that 81, 82 range. And so, yeah, you're getting in on him much over that silver quick sell, but it still pays off. As he hits 80 overall, you made your subs back 81, 82. You're making a lot of profit at that point. And who knows how far he could go beyond that. Adley, though, he's been on absolute fire recently, looking like the dude who was the #1 prospect in baseball. Definitely deserving of an upgrade here. I think he's going to get a pretty solid one this next update. I got to sneak in one more Ranger for y'all here at the end. Name number 11. Our bonus name is our home run, our lottery ticket, our flyer. It's Brock Burke. He's been quite incredible this year, really flying under the radar. Take a look at his last 19 innings pitched since July 1st. 3 walks, 22 strikeouts. So that Ks per 9 of 74, that walks per 9 of 63, both can go up quite a bit. He has given up some hits over that time period. Definitely not enough to go down there, but just enough to probably hold that back. But Ks per 9, walks per 9 need a solid upgrade, and he's firmly at quick sell value. I believe quick sell on a 76 is 75 stubs. Can't remember exactly, but I think that is the quick sell value there. Either way, he is right at quick sell value. No risk, no harm. And coming in here, just throwing some flyer orders on Brock Burke. Maybe continue his hot stretch that he's had this year. Even getting up into the gold territory, you're making a really strong return on your investment. Those are the 11 names I am working with today. Big roster update and coming possibly with how long it's been since we've had our last true attribute update outside of that defensive update that didn't touch any of our main offensive per 9 attributes. So could be a big one in this one. I want to make sure y'all are prepared. As always, y'all ask me any questions y'all got down in the comment section below. I try to get back to as many people as possible. And if y'all enjoyed this video, definitely be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Supports this video and supports me as a full-time content creator to continue to pump out content like this and help y'all out. Be sure to check out one of the Twitch live streams as well. Link to that down in the description below. We go over roster updates. I try to answer as many roster update questions about any individual players as I can. Till next time though, catch y'all around.